change of pace.
Welcome to the Change of Pace podcast. Today, I'm joined by Sai, and we are going to be recapping the conference finals as well as previewing the NBA Finals matchup between the Thunder and the Pacers. Sai, I feel like I should just give it to you because obviously it's been a while since you guys have been in the finals and just relevant, I would say. So, yeah, this must be like, I don't know, how does it feel? Let's start off with that, just the pure emotions to be back in the finals after like more than 10 years.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal. Well, I was like 12 when we made the finals last
Yeah.
time. No, I was 10, dude.
10. Yeah,
2012.
we were both 10, yeah.
We were 10 years old. And that was really when kind of my OKC fandom was starting because obviously I was a bandwagon. And I feel like that's acceptable as 10 years old when you're really
Yeah.
like into the young new team that beat the Lakers in the playoffs that series. And I think that was the series that really got me into watching OKC. It's been a whirlwind ever since. Uh, Injuries have devastated seasons. Russ going out for that year, KD going out. There was one season where Serge got hurt and like that lost the series. Choked against the Warriors, obviously blow the 3-1 lead.
Yeah.
Um, just a lot of disappointment. KD, I remember when KD, left OKC. I think I was in India and I woke up because, it was like midnight. No, I think I saw it like when it came out and it was midnight when it happened here. And like it was at like 5 p.m. or something over there. And I just remember being devastated. Like I had a feeling it would happen, but to
Yeah.
see it was really tough. Some whirlwinds. I think Paul George re-signing with OKC was just like that was a crazy moment. I thought we were back, and then just back to
Yeah.
back first round exits. So that was tough. And obviously the shot Dame,
Yeah.
which I didn't realize would actually change the course of
In a good way.
in a
It
great
screwed
way.
over their franchise and it helped
Yeah,
helped you guys a lot. Yeah. Um, yeah, the
some
game
real
was
emotions.
interesting because Paul George was third in MVP voting that year, and he'd had
Yeah.
like a terrible playoffs so far, and he finally had like a 40-point game in that game, what, five, I think, and then yeah, Dame hit the shot, so that's pretty funny. And then
Yeah.
they were literally, maybe I'm getting it mixed up, but wasn't he literally saying he's gonna come back, and then he got traded that
I think you're right. Yeah.
yeah.
They were saying like we'll be back, and then
They were at a
Paul
party. Weren't
George,
Russ and him at a party, or was that the year before? Like
that
I
was the
couldn't
year before. That
remember.
was when he announced he's
This year.
coming back and
Oh, okay,
re-signed.
got it. Yeah.
And that was like crazy hype. Because I was really expecting him to go to LA. Obviously, all the rumors were saying Paul
Yeah.
George to the Lakers. And then suddenly the trade goes, hits the ground where Paul George goes to the Clippers of all teams to join Kawhi Leonard. And you're thinking, at least as an OKC fan, we got Shea, we got a ton of picks. Never really seen a package of this magnitude. But
Yeah.
then Russ was still on the team at the time, and you're like, what's going on? What are we doing? I mean, Shea was like an exciting young player. He had like a 30-point game in the playoffs, I think, against you guys and the Warriors.
He had a good playoffs. Yeah, that put him
Yeah,
like on the map, I think. I mean, he was an
definitely.
underrated player in the regular season too, but yeah, definitely in the playoffs he impressed the tournament fans because more people, I guess, just watch these national
Yeah, I
tournaments.
mean, he was like a interesting, rookie who can kind of he was smarter and like very cerebral. He wasn't like
Yeah.
super fast or anything, but like
Oh,
could
yeah.
get to his spots, hit his shots, and then like so there's something there. And then the Russ trade happens, and that was devastating.
Yeah.
Obviously, as an OKC fan, Russ was like the last connection to the previous time as an OKC fan. And him going away and then completely going in a different direction. That CP3 year where suddenly we make the playoffs, lose in game seven in pretty devastating manner too. So like it's just been downhill and then little
Dude,
peaks and valleys. And then
I was
now
sure that
all
Lou
the way to
Dort
here
was
is
like the
crazy.
future. Like after that year, I was sure it was like, oh wow, this is Lou Dort's team, bro. Oh man, that 30-point game and now, hey, he's still a pretty like
Yeah.
some important
First
party.
team all defense.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, sorry, go ahead. So now, like
Well, I
looking,
mean, last year, we get to the first seed. Okay, well, I guess from there we tank for 2 years, have
we're
some
progressively
devastating
better
loss.
though. Like
Yeah, it's like we
in the
have
play
we
in.
we get Poku and we get
Oh
like
man.
there were so many bad players on our team. It was just a rotating nest of bad players that even at a certain point I would just stop watching the games because there was no point. Like
Yeah.
it was getting there. And then Shea comes back. We get J-Dub, who is a stud his first year, second in Rookie of the Year voting that year. And we're kind of like frisky. Chet obviously goes down. That was tough. But then we get to the 10th, I think the 9th seed at the time, beat the
Yeah.
Pelicans, lose to the
Falcons.
Wolves.
Mhm.
The next year, become the 1 seed out of nowhere. Everything's like
Yeah.
riding high. Obviously, had a flawed team, right? No size, but just a really good defensive team led by a stud in Shea who really turned into like an MVP candidate last year, and then lose to the Mavs in 6. I mean, we were pretty competitive with them. I
I'm
feel like we
still
could have put the
surprised you
Wolves
guys
too.
lost that series. I mean, you should have won. What was that game that Shea went off? You guys blew a lead. Was it game six where you
It
blew a
was
fucking
game
huge
6.
lead?
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
up like 18, and then
Yeah.
in the third quarter they came back, and then obviously it was back and forth right at the end. We had like an alley-oop to Chet to go
Yeah.
up, and then the free throws where PJ Washington gets fouled, end up losing the game.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
fuck. I'm remembering all this now. Kyrie went crazy that series, huh?
Not really. I mean, I
Did
felt
he?
like Dub,
Oh,
they
sorry.
put
Was it
J-Dub
the
on it.
Wolves series where Kyrie
They both went, Kyrie and Luca both went
going
crazy, but
crazy?
we really
Okay.
like shut them down. It was really just PJ Washington. Derek Jones Jr. had a good series, and then offensive rebounding really killed us. Like Derek Lively and Gafford were really killing us on the
And their
boards.
defense on J-Dub was not. It was like
Yeah.
connected with you guys too. So
I think, yeah, I mean, Jada in his second year kind of expected to be a second option for a first seed, just tough. But okay, grew from that experience this year, have a dominant run. Chet gets hurt like 10 games into the season. We
yeah.
pick up iHeart, Alex Caruso trade in the offseason. I mean, before this year, I thought we were going to be like one of the best defenses of all time, our best defense in the league for sure. Everyone 1 through 9 was like a positive defender, and we had so many
Yeah.
guys who are better than that. J-Dub takes a defensive leap. Chet, gets hurt during the regular season, but we still say strong. We're what, 29-1 against the East this year.
Yeah.
Crazy stat. Second best net rating of all time. All signs leading towards an insane team. And right right now, here we are, I guess. Like after that Nugget series, I feel like confident that we're the best team in the league. And
Oh, yeah.
the title runs through us. Like if we lose, it's because we gave it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and J-Dub's like big step this year defensively, like you said, becoming an all-star. And then
Yep.
like we can even before we even get into predictions, like Shea's just historic season individually,
Yeah.
right?
MVP.
MVP, best record in the league, obviously all NBA first team, obviously an all-star starter. And then he was not on all the defensive team though, right?
Not this year, no.
No. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, just a historic year. He led the league in scoring too.
Hmm.
So just a dominant year from him. He could be the first player in literally since 2015 Steph to win the MVP and win the championship, but this time he could actually do it with a Finals MVP.
Yeah.
Uh,
He would be the first player since Shaq, I think, in 2000, 2001, if he gets a scoring title, Finals MVP, MVP,
God,
and championship, of course. But
wow.
so there's a
That's
lot
that's so
of,
realistic, dude. Like that's
yeah,
we'll get into it very soon, but that's very likely to happen, which is insane to think about like 5 years ago where this team was.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. All right, let's just jump right into it. So what are your thoughts? How do you want to structure this?
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm seeing, it seems like a very dominant series in OKC's favor. I think most of the odds are putting them like minus 700, minus 750.
Yeah.
And I think the place you want to start is I want to kind of start like with the offensive side of the ball for the Pacers, kind of see what they can figure out because they've been the best offensive team in the playoffs basically, other than the Cavs for some reason who have inflated stats from the Miami series. But the Pacers have been pretty dominant this postseason. They beat the Knicks in 6 last series, and pretty convincing fashion in Game 6. So they're coming off a high. Nemhard played great defense on Brunson, and now he's gonna have to probably guard Shea, I'd assume. Halliburton hit some great shots to end the second half and kind of end the next season. And then Siakam won Eastern Conference Finals MVP. So they're coming off some serious like a serious heater. I mean, beat three to back like decent teams. I mean, the Cavs are the first seed, destroyed them, dismantled them in 5 games, and then the Knicks. Coming off beating the Celtics, you were really high on like what they could end up doing, and unfortunately, they didn't get there. But the Pacers, I think, especially Rick Carlisle, has really proved me wrong. I think they've been
Mm,
very
yeah.
offensively, like obviously just the pace they've been playing as in their name, has been blistering. They're killing teams in transition off uh, miss shots like off inbound passes. They're just killing teams in transition. They're shooting the hell out of the ball. We remember Neesmith going crazy at the end of the game, end of game one. But other than that, like everyone on their team basically is shooting above 40% from three right now.
Mm,
Um, they're having a magnet ball season right now, and they're a really good shooting team. And then obviously Halliburton has been exceptional, looking like a top 10 player in the league.
yeah.
Very like, disciplined passer, but also pushing the right buttons, they're getting his team in transition, creating open opportunities for his team, and also like being aggressive when he has to and being clutch. So there's a lot of good in this offense, and obviously they're facing the buzzsaw that is the Thunder defense.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've seen Halliburton struggle. I mean, in certain games where he struggles, he'll attempt like 5 shots, and you can't really even have one game like that in this series, I feel like. But at the same time, I don't know how easy it is for him to get going against this defense. Like the Thunder match up very, very well against the Pacers, and I mean, who you think they're gonna start Lou Dort
Definitely.
on like that's a difficult matchup. And then like it's not like Andrew Nemhard and Aaron Neesmith are gonna get loose either because they're gonna have Shea and J-Dub on them. Or you might even put yeah, I mean I'm assuming you're gonna put Chet on Pascal, right?
Yeah, I
So
mean, it kind of depends. I feel like the big question for OKC defensively is do you go
go
double
small.
big or do
Yeah.
you go one big with Chet?
It would
And
make more sense
personally,
to go double big. I mean not double big. It'd go Chet at the 5 just to match up with Miles Turner because I mean I heard like I don't know. You kind of if you it's not the best idea. I feel like to stretch him out, and we saw against
yeah.
the what was it? I feel like you guys did well going small against the Nuggets. Was it?
Well,
Uh,
I think against the Wolves especially we
against
won.
Wolves, yeah,
Because that's why Hartenstein's minutes towards the end of that series kind of dwindled. Like he was playing
yeah,
20 minutes a game around. And it's because like we're really fast like without
yeah,
Like he's a good player, but he slows us down, and especially against Indiana,
yeah.
like Tyrese can get these switches onto big guys. He can cook. Like I feel like that's where he shines. I mean, he's not really the best ISO creator by himself, especially against
Mhm.
like guys who can pressure up to him, like Lou Dort can, like J-Dub, Caruso, or Wallace. Like I feel like you throw those guys, like he's gonna really struggle in creating his own offense. When
Definitely.
you have big guys on the floor that he can target, like iHeart, I'm not saying you shouldn't play iHeart at all, but when you have a guy like iHeart, you're gonna have to rotate behind him or like double or something, like get him out of that possession where he's ISO'd, where Hallie can make his move, get a step back three,
Yeah.
and you're kind of screwed that way. So I feel like you have to go small for that reason, because otherwise, I mean, if you have iHeart, there's something to pick at. You can just run pick and pop at him with Miles Turner. Without him, there's nothing. Like OKC is
Yeah.
very like flawless as a defense, I think, when they're going small, especially against this team, which
Pacers
Indiana's not
attack
like
the
a
switches a lot.
yeah, and
The
they're not like an intimidating rebounding team where I'm worried about Chet being the lone big. I mean, Chet's
yeah.
leading the playoffs in rebounds right now, but
Mhm.
even then, like I don't think I'm not worried about Miles Turner, Siakam kind of like out rebounding, create possessions that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean. I'm not sure who gets going in this series. Like, I feel like it's such a stupid thing to say, but like on the Pacers side of things, I don't know what the favorable matchup is. Like, what player you expect to get hot, unless I mean, like to go off, unless you expect someone to get stupidly hot from three. And I think that's another thing. Like the play styles of their stars are quite different. I feel like Shea leans a lot into the mid range. I mean, I think I saw a stat. Is he leading the? I think he's leading the playoffs in mid range. Um,
Makes sense.
what percentage? Yeah, he's 47.9%. I don't know if he's leading it, but yeah, he's attempted the most and he's shooting 48% from the mid-range this season. And then Indiana's also shooting 49% from the mid-range this season. But I mean, I just feel like the Thunder sometimes have games where they just don't get up as many threes, and that's not going to happen against the Pacers. I mean, the Pacers, that's not going to happen in even one of these games. So it's like they have to keep up with the pace, but I don't think they'll have a lot of trouble doing it, especially with their defense that forces this many turnovers. So that's something on the Pacers side to, I don't know, take into account.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen OKC's pretty insane as a half court defense, right? Because they have like the size and switchable defenders. Like when you're running pick and roll against the Thunder, like you can either switch, you can blitz. Like the team moves so fast in rotation that even if you get a mistake, that's you can't really get hurt as much. But then again, the Pacers, something they're really good at is just breaking down rotation and
Yeah.
creating passes and creating open lanes. So that's why I think that the advantage they have there is if OKC does what they do best and just swarm the paint, which I don't think they'll do as much because you're not worried about Halliburton getting into the basket like you were with Anthony Edwards or even
Yeah,
with Jokic who just like plays around the basket. Like with Hallie, I would just switch everything, like
yeah, yeah.
and then I would put Chet on Siakam, like you said, and then maybe put Dub on Turner. So then, because that's what I feel like the action they run
Yeah,
is most, right? The pick and pop. And then
yeah,
that way you're always getting a favorable matchup on that end.
yeah.
And you can like whenever Hallie does that, just switch. And with the Hallie again, he's not a guy who can create an isolation super well without
Mhm.
a screen. I feel like we saw at
Yeah,
the end of like game 4 against the Knicks when he was really just getting struggling to get a shot up because
yeah.
his only shot really when he's like kind of cornered is step back three.
Step back.
And if you
Yeah.
know that's coming, like it's easier to stop that for
He
real.
just attacks the big. In the clutch, he often attacks the big. He'll get the switch and
Yeah,
attack the big, right? Whether it's a step back or is driving by them. Happens time and time again. So,
yeah,
and even like the problem is, again, for the Pacers, that like Chet isn't even a big you could really attack that easily. Like he's quite mobile for a 7 footer. So I'm not sure they can even lean into that. I mean, for me, I feel like they have to get out in transition, and Pascal, like who is probably their best transition player, like just like pure scoring wise, has to. I don't know. He's after to average like 25 a game, and I don't know how possible that is.
right. Well, I think like Siakam, like he feels like a guy who OKC's played a couple times. Like I feel like he's similar to Julius Randle in kind of play style. Not like he's a little better
Same
for sure, more
time.
skilled.
Yeah.
I'm not saying in a bad way, but like in the same way they like kind of bully ball
Yeah.
back to the basket, rely on mid-range jumpers and tough baskets. Like obviously I mean, Siakam's a lot quicker, uses transition a lot more.
Yeah, I think that's
Definitely
what is
more
unique about
pull-up
him.
oriented than Randall, I feel like. Randall's more like bully ball.
I think Pascal's offense just fits the system way more than Randall's does. Like I feel like he scores
Definitely.
very like in the flow of the offense, and while it's going, Siakam often goes. Versus again, like we've discussed about Randall, it's kind of like a very isolation heavy scoring. Like I don't think like Pascal is very capable of that, but I don't think that's the way the Pacers utilize him in a good way. Like it's a good thing.
Right. But I feel like when they use Siakam, it's not to like initiate offense for others,
No,
though. You know what I mean? Like
it's
if he
not. Yeah,
is, it's like his
it's the
own thing.
isolation.
So
Yeah,
it is a little bit more of like the Randall kind of isolation, mid post, post up kind of game. I mean, it definitely isn't as much as Randall is, where he's like almost entirely back to the basket where guys can get turnovers off of him. He's a
yeah,
little more like Siakam definitely has more of a face-up game. But I feel like that's where he shines, and I feel like that's something that OKC can hone in on, and
yeah,
especially collapse and create turnovers that way.
yeah.
Um, so I feel like I agree, but I think I think the players that can really get loose for Indiana is Turner off the pick and pop, depending
Yeah.
on how the matchups work out. And then he like size is obviously going to be a mismatch. I feel like post-ups aren't super effective against the Thunder unless it's
Oh, yeah.
Jokic.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about like mismatch attacking that way. And then I feel like Nemhard and Neesmith can get really loose from three because
In trend, I mean, yeah.
we've seen like Jaden McDaniels, like he gets a ton of open shots. Like the Thunder are willing to concede open corner threes, and the Pacers have the guys to make them pay for it.
The
So
problem is that like
yeah,
I feel like they get the Timberwolves got a lot of those shots off of like Anthony Edwards initiating the offense. And I just think it's obviously Tyrese Halliburton is a miles better playmaker than Anthony Edwards is, but he just doesn't have the same rim pressure. Like I don't
for
think
sure, for sure.
you guys are nearly as scared of him getting you're like Lou Dort getting beaten off the dribble or powered through by Tyrese Halliburton as you were with Anthony Edwards. So I think you will limit
Agreed.
those opportunities. But again, Aaron Nesmith is a way more like deadly shooter than Jane McDaniels is. So yeah, if that does happen, like, something to feel for. Like you said, like this is not gonna sound really insulting, but like Miles Turner and Chet are somewhat similar archetypes. Obviously, Chet can put the ball on the floor more, but like I
Yeah,
could see a world where Miles Turner gets hot and outplays Chet this series, and that would be like their only shot to actually win. Like if he completely outplays Chet, we've seen Chet like I mean he got outplayed by PJ Washington, in last year. So like it's
as a
somewhat
rookie, yeah,
no, exactly. No, no, that's the thing, right? Like Chet is definitely a better basketball player than Miles Turner, but Miles Turner does step it up in the playoffs, like he has in the last 2 years.
yeah.
So we could see him like maybe average like 20 and 7. Then it might be possible for them to have a chance. And I feel like he's a good barometer for the Pacers as a whole, like the Pacers, just their success in the
Yeah.
playoffs last couple of years. And then Pascal Siakam, like I feel like we still underrate this guy, dude. Like I mean. he's had a very, very impressive playoff so far. And like
Definitely.
Chet does
Definitely.
seem like the dream matchup for Pascal Siakam. The way, I mean, you saw the only way Randall cooked you guys was catching fire from three in like game one.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so like it's hard for me to see Pascal going off, but like I think that's more likely in Tyrese Halliburton going off too, and especially with that close
Honestly, yeah, I agree.
like
Because like
Alex so in
I'm
it too.
looking at like the playoff matchups for Hallie. It's been
It's so
what like
scary.
Gary Trent and
Yeah, yeah, no, it's
like
bullshit.
and then in the you have the second round you got Max Strus as his main defender. And then Mikhail's like decent, but he's not a guy who like is
Mikhail's
physical. He's
defense has
not
fallen off since he left the Suns too. Like
yeah, I
as
mean
he's become more of an offensive oriented player, his defense is definitely taking a drop.
definitely. And even then, like even as a defender, he's had his moments, but I feel like it's like length. Like he's a good off-ball defender, kind of using his
Sure, yeah.
length. Like I remember that steal he got at the end of that
But he's
Celtics
not, yeah,
series,
he's just
and
not
he has
finishing
like
him.
off-ball plays, but he's just not a guy who's like he's not Lou Dort, like on ball at all. Not
No,
even close. And I feel
absolutely.
like Tyrese can really struggle there. I saw a stat like in 132 possessions where Tyrese is guarded by Lou Dort, he's averaging 8.5 points per 75 possessions.
Jeez.
And
Like
it's really
crazy.
just a
Is
reluctance
it a
to
big
shoot.
sample size though? I don't
It's
know.
132 possessions. So it's pretty solid.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
But it's over like the last seven, like however long both of these guys have been on, like so like
You
the
guys
last
have a lot
4
to
years.
throw at them, dude. Like you have very different archetypes of defenders to throw at them. You have the big defender who can still move in Lou Dort. You have the
Yeah.
quicker, like handsier defender in Alex Caruso, and you have the lengthy and strong defender in J-Dub. And like even Cason Wallace is also
Yeah.
as lengthy. So like I don't know, you have a lot to throw at him, and like
It's
especially if
nothing
you're
he's
kind of
encountered for sure.
daring. Yeah, if you're daring guys like Ben Shepherd and Neesmith and Mathurin to make shots, and you're kind of just like completely taking Hallie out of the game, like I don't see you guys. I don't know how you're supposed to lose this series.
Yeah, I mean, I think we definitely do have the advantage defensively. I think again, transition, they've killed teams in transition. OKC is one of the better transition defensive teams as there are in like every defensive metric, but
Yeah,
I think they were third in the regular season in the transition defense. And then they also just don't turn the ball over compared to other teams. Like
yeah.
Shea is their offensive initiator. He doesn't turn the ball over. He averages like 2 turnovers a game for a guy with his crazy volume. So I mean, that's something where, Indiana thrives and OKC can really limit. So if they can keep Tyrese in check, which I think they will be able to,
Mm.
Siakam can probably get his a little, but I think, like, I don't think he's like as, he's not like turnover prone. Like even Jaren, I feel like was a similar archetype where he's like
Yeah.
very reliant on like the mismatch attacking, kind of like attacking straight like in this face up positions.
I
Like
still think
Siakam's better than
Pascal.
both of those
uh,
guys.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
think
So like I feel
Pascal.
like
Yeah.
he's not going to be as bad as those guys, but he's also not at the same time going to do what he did in the conference finals, where he averaged like 25.
I feel like Pascal will like finds a way to make his impact offensively. I don't know. He really impresses me. And I think you guys outside of Chet, you don't have a great matchup for him. Thankfully,
I
it's
think Dub can match up well,
I don't know. I think
personally.
Pascal's too big, dude. Like I don't
Really?
think I don't know. I think Pascal's way more skilled than Randall is offensively. I think he's gonna have
Yeah.
a much easier time scoring on Jada than Randall did. Or like I'm not even sure how many times they really matched up in that Thunder series, but like, in the Timberwolves series. But like Chet is the perfect guy to slow him down. I'm not sure these other guys can slow him down without completely blitzing him in the paint. I think he obviously is gonna beat Hartenstein off the dribble. He's too big for like I think he's too big for J-Dub. I
I,
that's
I I think he can guard him pretty well. Another smaller sample size, but in 54 possessions where Dubs guarded Siakam, he's also averaging 8.5 points per game or points per 75. So I
okay.
feel like it's a
Well,
decent matchup. I think
hmm.
Chet is probably going to get the main. I mean, depending on, I feel like the only way that we really lose this series is a huge coaching blunder by Dagnall, where he's
Yeah,
like
another one, yeah.
I mean, he really is reliant on, two bigs like Isaiah Hartenstein being like playing 40 minutes a game or some shit,
Yeah.
where they don't realize that the small ball is really what, because I remember in the regular season matchup against uh Indiana, like we had our big guy, like iHart was there, and then he got hurt kind of 10, 15 minutes into the game, and we were down 10. And then when he comes out of the game, like that's when we took our lead and we ended up winning the game by 20.
Yeah.
So small ball is really the way to go against this team because you don't have any weaknesses when you have our like speed guys on the perimeter and then Chet as a rim protector.
Yeah.
Um, So maybe the bench is another option, like TJ McConnell, if he can kind of get going.
Mm.
I feel like we still have the perimeter defenders to
Oh,
guard
you
him too,
do
because they're
like
like,
come on, yeah.
yeah,
Casey Walls off the bench is like more than enough to guard TJ McConnell, I feel like.
exactly. And like guys like Obi Toppin, like they're not creating his own shot. Benedict Mathurin maybe could do some damage. Like he's a really good like downhill driver,
I
really
could see
reliant on
their
getting to
bench
the line.
doing okay. I could see their bench playing decently against you guys. But it just
Yeah,
depends on like how deep they I mean how deep they go. They go like 8, 9 deep consistent like 9 deep
yeah.
consistently.
I'm also
But
like,
how deep you guys go too. Like I don't
yeah,
know. I feel like you guys have really tightened the rotation a bit, no? Like I mean Isaiah Joe is like I'm not sure how many minutes he's gonna be getting this series and then
it's definitely like at least 9 for us.
really
No.
okay.
But it's like, Kenrich Williams will play a little bit,
Yeah.
Isaiah Joe will play a little
A
bit,
little
Wiggins
bit,
will play
yeah.
a little bit. It's here. Also, like touch and go, Jay Will play a little bit,
Hmm.
depending on the matchup. I feel like here is more of like an Isaiah Joe series because you really want to just
Get out of
open up the
nine jumpers.
floor
Yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah.
And he's probably
Okay,
a
Aaron
guy who's
Wiggins,
quick enough
Isaiah
to
Joe could
survive the
be nice
matchup.
this series. Yeah.
Hoping so.
Yeah.
So we should probably
You
look
cut off.
at,
What'd you say?
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. We should probably look at the other end of the floor. Um, how is the Pacers defense going to do against the Thunder offense?
Is it like how do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna get fucked.
It's interesting because like they did a pretty decent job. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, Brunson averaged like 31 on 60,
Yeah.
like 3% true shooting, so he's like pretty good.
Yeah.
And Cat was pretty good, but
The
I feel
Knicks
like
defense just couldn't handle them. That's why they lost.
yeah,
Like,
right.
but like the offense, the Pacers actually were like a top 10 defense after the All-Star break. But like, and I feel like they were like decent. They still looked like for portions of time pretty good defensively, for stretches against the Knicks and the Celtics. I mean, not the and the Cavs, um, when it mattered. But like. I don't know, dude. Like they don't have good matchups for anyone. Like you're gonna put Neesmith on what's that, J-Dub. You're gonna put Nemhard on Shea. How the fuck is
Yeah.
he gonna guard Shea?
I was thinking that. I mean, I think the only guy who's given Shea some real troubles this series or this playoffs have been like Scottie Pippen Jr. Low-key. And they're kind of similar archetypes, maybe.
That's
I don't
true.
know. It's also possible Shea was just like fucking around at the beginning of the series. So like it's like
Yeah, that was a weird like beginning of the playoffs. Like
because he was
really,
really bad those like first
yeah.
3 games, but ever since he's kind of locked in.
You like if J-Dub didn't exist, you would think Neesmith would take the Shea matchup, but that's not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
I
Um,
think yeah, I think they really need to like lock down J-Dub and Chet to kind of have a chance offensively because
I think of a lengthy like. Would you even? I don't even know how good of a defender Obi Toppin is. Like he's not. I feel like he's not a good
not
defender at
really.
all, right? No.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
really. I think
Who
Ben
are you
Shepherd's
putting
probably
on
off the
J-Dub?
bench.
For J-Dub though?
Oh no, you definitely do Neesmith
No,
on
I mean,
J-Dub.
I mean, like in addition to Neesmith,
Siakam when you can.
and then who's gonna guard Chet? Like Miles Turner is gonna guard Chet.
Miles Turner. I think Obi. I mean, you can probably put small. You can put like Neesmith and like wings on Chet. Like it's not the end of the world.
I don't know. There's gonna be like the Shea matchup is always he's always gonna have the favorable matchup, and then Chet has
Yeah.
the chance to be aggressive too. So I don't know if they handle their business defensively. I wouldn't worry about them offensively, to be honest.
Yeah, but if J-Dub struggles, like they've had a couple good series, like the Nugget series was really rough for both J-Dub and Chet. If they're both good this series, I think it's a wrap. Like this, there's no chance.
Hmm.
But if they're not that effective and the 3-point shots off, and the whole team's has not been shooting good, like this, like, it's been kind of
Yeah,
very opposites in the sense that Pacers are shooting lights out, and the Thunder have been pretty poor from three this whole playoffs. So if that continues, that could be a problem for them. But I really feel like Shea has a favorable matchup no matter what. Like Neesmith did some good damage against Brunson in that last game, especially. I felt like he got 6 steals that game, was really like
yeah.
being a pest. There's potential for, Shea
I
to
don't
get
know,
picked
man.
up full court and kind of be like, get under his skin, get under the shots, try to contest them.
Brunson did have like a historically bad game for his standards, I feel like in game six, right? But
Yeah.
he's cooked Neesmith the last 2 years, dude. I
Yeah.
don't like Neesmith can't guard him.
Yeah, I don't think
He can't
Neesmith's
guard.
probably a good matchup because I feel like Shea's just gonna foul him out in like
Yeah,
5 minutes.
yeah,
Like he's very handsy and physical as a defender, and Shea just knows how to like time that and draw fouls pretty instantly against those type of guys.
yeah,
So I really feel like Neesmith or Nemhard's probably their best chance there, and he's just too small at the same time, right? He's like 6'3",
yeah.
and Shea got the practice against him, Team
It's like
Canada.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, um, I feel like, sometimes when you put a smaller guy, like they pick you up from like under you, so
Yeah.
taller guys tend to struggle, and that might be why Scottie Pippen gave Shea a hard time, but I don't know, dude. I wouldn't be worried if I were you. Like, there's no way you're actually worried about Andrew Nemhard guarding Shea. Like, he's gonna be a pest,
Yeah.
but um,
I mean, I'm more worried for Tyrese Halliburton than I am for Shea, for sure.
as you should. But yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Do you want to get to predictions? More things you want to break down about this series?
I mean, I think the keys to the series, I think the benches will probably have to be key. Like I feel like someone's really gonna have to step up on Indiana's bench to keep this close.
Yeah. My
Like
prediction is
a
that it's gonna be
McConnell,
Obi Toppin. I'm calling Obi Toppin
maybe
having
Obi,
a
yeah.
decent series.
Um, and then I really think transition, like both teams have been excellent in transition. That's kind of how they've won these series by like winning the turnover battle, being really efficient
Yeah.
in the half court that way. Um, and you would think that OKC is not a good team that you would get win the transition battle by a ton because they've won the transition battle in a lot of these games.
Yeah.
So if Indiana can win that convincingly, they're going to get a lot of easy offense that way, at least relative to half court offense against this OKC defense. And then they're going to have to shoot lights out again, like legitimately every quarter three's got to go in because those are the ones that are probably most like willing to concede. A lot of these pick and pop threes from Turner, and then Tyrese has got to go as like his step back three's got to be going down. Like I feel like those are the keys
Yeah.
to the series for Indiana to have a chance. Like a lot of things would have to go in their favor. And then for OKC, I feel like don't go too reliant on the double bigs, like trying to be willing to go small as much as possible. And
I
then
think,
just
yeah.
hope for a big series from J-Dub and Chet.
Yeah, I feel like you should look at the rebounding battle based on these matchups that you're saying. Like, if the Thunder do go small, how does that affect? Because we've seen the Thunder struggle in the past rebounding, like against the
Yeah, but
Mavs.
it's
Like,
this is Miles Turner. Like he averages like 6 boards a game.
yeah, he does average only like six. Pascal can get boards though,
He can
and
get
like
boards, but I think Chet can like get some
even
rebounds. I
Neesmith,
think
like that whole like those two, like Pascal and Neesmith, I feel like are guys you want to worry about. I don't know. That's just
yeah,
one thing. If you guys are gonna go small, something
right.
you
But I feel like
something.
it's not as worrisome. Like if we were playing the Knicks or something, like they can really rebound the
Yeah,
basketball, especially
yeah,
with Robinson and
yeah,
Towns. But this is not a team I'm too worried about on that end. And that was a battle they were willing to concede by having Mitchell Robinson on the court. Like they were willing to give up that because they were killing the Knicks in transition with the double bigs.
yeah,
Like I feel like the same thing with OKC. It's like we're willing to give up some offensive rebounds, but at the same time, it's not even going to be too much because I felt like they've rebounded pretty well this year.
yeah,
And I think against Minnesota too, they were a lot more small ball, and they've still rebounded the ball pretty well because their guards rebound really well, like Shea and Lou Dort and J-Dub even. So like they can make up for it, I think.
yeah. And then another thing, like I feel like it's the foul trouble. I mean, especially with like
Sure.
Smith, or Nemhard even getting into foul trouble versus Shea. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up the stats actually. I want to see Brunson's free throw stats against the Pacers. This check. Average versus free throws. 57 over 7. What is that like? Eight, eight
Yeah.
free throws a game. That's actually not a
Probably.
lot.
That's like about average for him.
Yeah.
He's definitely had series more. 'Cause I feel like in the Celtics series he didn't get fouled much, but
Yeah.
in the Pistons series he got a lot of free throw attempts up.
Yeah. Uh, oh, actually, sorry. I was wrong. I was looking. I looked at 2024 for some reason.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
No, but it's even worse. It was 7 free throws a game. For like, so I mean, I guess the refs are letting more slide, but Shea's a different animal. So
Yeah.
we'll see. And he's been getting to the line at historic rate these playoffs, right?
Well, the opposite. I mean, I've seen some stats where it's like not super historic compared to like.
I thought I swear, didn't you send a stat where he had
He was like 402nd or something through 12 games in
in the
all-time like free throws per game.
what did you send? Oh, no, like for the playoffs?
Yeah, for the playoffs. I mean, he's still shooting like 9.5 free throws per game, I think, but like that might have went down after his game 5. He didn't shoot that many.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, he's averaging like 9.5 in the playoffs. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So it's a good amount for sure. But
yeah.
I don't think Indiana's a team that fouls too much. That's
No.
probably another battle where they're gonna have to win because OKC as a team fouls a lot and they don't
Hmm.
get to a line a ton other than Shea. So they need to get to the line because I felt like Minnesota, that's something they didn't do at the level they needed to, like get to the free throw line. I thought
Yeah.
Denver did significantly compared to Minnesota. That could have been like a reason they were able to stretch that series. I think
Hmm.
Indiana should try to get to the line as much. And I don't think they have the guys for it, really. Like
Yeah.
Matherin's out gonna have to get a lot of free throws, and he was able to do that in a couple games against the Knicks, but he might not have the same success.
Surprisingly, the Thunder and Pacers are like Thunder and Pacers are 2 and 3 respectively in pace in the playoffs so far. So I don't think there's going to be a ton of fouling in this series at all. Uh,
Maybe.
yeah.
So yeah, what's your overall prediction then?
I will say the Thunder in 6 just because I feel like I count the Pacers out in every single series, and I'm counting them out again in this series. But I think, yeah, I think it'll be a little more competitive. So I guess I'll have the Thunder winning in Indiana for Game 6.
Yeah, that's fair. I want to give them that credit too, but I kind of want
Hopefully 5.
OKC to like kind of stamp their final like their dominance at
Yeah,
home. So I'm gonna say they give up game three because the last two series they've give up game three. Especially Minnesota, they lost by like 40 in that game three.
yeah,
Um, so I'm gonna say OKC in five, a competitive five. But I feel like the transition battle, like I really think Indiana just doesn't have the firepower defensively, and I think their stars are really going to struggle.
yeah.
And OKC is just going to cement themselves like as an all-time team.
Hey man, yeah. Here's hoping.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. I could see him winning in 5 too, but I wanted to stretch. Do you think there's gonna be a blowout this series? Like a
probably.
25 point plus blowout? And do you think it's gonna?
OKC's blown out every team they've played in the
Yeah.
playoffs. So
Hey, I feel like Pacers have two, no?
I don't think so.
Did they not blow out the Cavs? I thought they blew them out 1 game.
I don't even know if they blew out the Knicks unless you count game six.
Yeah, Game 6. I mean, yeah, I guess what do you count as a blowout? They
No,
beat
they
the
did.
Cavs by
They
like,
definitely blew out the Cavs that one game. I think it was game four when like it was gonna be 2-2 and then they just
yeah, I
destroyed the
mean, they won by
Cavs.
20.
Yeah.
20, and then they won Game 3 by 22. Oh, sorry, that was Cavs won Game 3 by 22. Never mind. Yeah, 22. This could be the first team in NBA history to win the finals despite losing by 40 or more in
Oh
a
yeah.
game. So,
Facts. If they do pull it
yeah.
off,
Yeah, okay.
we'll see.
Do you want to quickly just go over the other teams that got eliminated in the conference finals? And then let's start off with the Nuggets. I mean, that was a while ago. In Game 7, obviously the Thunder beat the Nuggets. You want to just quickly go over like an off-season like moves for the Nuggets?
Yeah,
Um,
sure. So what they re-signed Adelman as their full-time head coach.
yeah,
So they got that figured out. And then it's really kind of what roster moves do you make around the margins? Because I feel like you're kind of stuck with
yeah,
what you have. MPJ's trade value isn't good enough to kind of
that's a
trade him, in
big
my
one,
opinion.
man. Yeah, I mean, MPJ, what a rough. I don't know. He had a shoulder injury, right?
Yeah.
I think that's like he averaged 9 points a game, shot 34% from three in these
That
playoffs. It's a
shoulder injury
crazy stat.
definitely bothered him for
Yeah,
sure. And at his best, he's a very good player. Obviously, I don't think he's a max contract level player, especially with
yeah,
the
no.
second apron.
Mhm.
And Christian Brown showed out this playoff, so I feel like you definitely
Yeah,
like him. But I think your real questions left are, would you re-sign Russell Westbrook? I think he has a team or player option, so he can hop
yeah,
back in. So it's kind of if that happens, and then they're gonna get Deron Holmes back, so that's something like as a depth
one center,
piece.
you know.
But other than that, I don't think they have any draft picks. So it's really, can you use your mid-level? I don't think so because of Saric, and they're really just like capped
Yeah.
like crazy.
I mean, it's about like somehow rounding out that bench. I mean, they're rumored like they have the highest odds to get Trey Murphy. Pelicans made like
That would
basically
be
all these
crazy.
guys available.
I mean,
I
that would
know.
be MPJ and like some young player for,
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like a
yeah,
more athletic version of MPJ, dude.
right.
That's crazy. And then, yeah, I don't know. They have to somehow round out their bench. Their bench was just abysmal this year. Like they did. I mean, Peyton Watson actually was decent, like for games in
Was.
the playoffs. But I mean, last year he played like shit. So I don't know what you're really getting from him on a consistent basis. Um,
Yeah, I mean they took OKC to 7 games, right? Like
yeah,
if OKC
that's
does
very important.
dominate the Pacers, like they would look like you would feel confident about where you are if you're Denver. Because if MPJ was healthy, if Aaron Gordon plays that last game, it could be Denver in 7 instead, and they're in the finals. So, Adelman did a good job. You hope Deron Holmes can kind of add something, and then maybe you can get one more guy who can just be a rotational piece in
Yeah.
the playoffs because or like hopefully Strother can just be better and be turned into that guy because he was decent for that game 6 and then maybe one more maybe he can turn into like a more consistent 3-point shooter because I
Yeah.
really think that's all you need.
Yeah. I mean, you just need, yeah, you need some kind of consistent offense off the bench, I feel like.
Yeah,
I was thinking, even though it's impossible, imagine if they get like Nas Reed or something off the bench.
that
That
would
would
be
be
insane. Yeah,
insane. Yeah.
but I mean definitely can't afford that.
Not possible. No. Um, yeah. I mean, they clearly have faith in Adelman. He just seems like a kid, just having fun out there being a coach, man. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but I think like I still don't think this Nuggets team was that good. I just think Jokic is that good. Like I think all props goes to Jokic for taking the Thunder to 7. Jamal had a few good games. That's
I,
it.
I disagree, dude. They clamped Jokic to a way he's never been, and I feel like
And some of those
Aaron
games
Gordon
were
showed out.
crazy,
I think
dude.
Christian
Yeah.
Brown had a great series.
Yeah.
And I feel like their defense was really good. Like their zone was excellent. And it really stumped OKC like they've
Yeah.
never been stumped.
That's true. Yeah.
Um,
Um, Aaron Gordon, like grade two. Um,
yeah, playing on that was insane. Like I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
he looked good for the first half too. Like
Yeah, that first 2 minutes of the game or 3 minutes of the game, it felt like he was dominating you guys.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't really like after the second half, you guys started off on like a 9-0 run or something, and it was basically over from then
exactly.
on. So yeah, you would never think about moving on from Jamal Murray, right?
It's just like he's
What do
a
you get?
player who's better on like he's more valued to Denver than any other team on the league. Like uh, Denver probably values him as like an all-star level player. I don't think any other team does.
Well, you think he relies that much on Jokic to get?
It's not even that, but it's just like you've seen it in your house, like that he's doing that good for you. And he's very inconsistent in the regular season. And yeah, obviously Jokic just elevates you. Like you saw with like KCP, Bruce Brown, like all these
Yeah,
guys who leave the Nuggets just don't turn out that good outside of it.
yeah. I don't know. It just feels like they can't. Yeah, like you said, they're kind of stuck in this place with this roster, and I'm not sure
Yeah,
if they can make moves to get better than OKC. And like again, that series should have been over in less than 7 if you guys just didn't have that stupid end to game one, right?
right.
Uh, and yeah, but okay. Anything else you want to talk about for the Nuggets?
No, I mean, we'll see how good Deron Holmes is. Maybe he can be a pretty good rotational big because they've been sorely missing a backup center.
Yeah, yeah. Jordan is not cutting it. Okay. Let's move on to Wolves or
Let's do
Knicks.
the Wolves.
Okay. Yeah, kind of pathetic ending to the season for them. Nas Reed, he averaged like I think like 10 in the playoffs. I mean, not playoffs in the series against you guys. Anthony Edwards couldn't get going. Julius Randle looked like shit. Um, yeah, the offense just looked very like I don't know. You guys just kind of clamped them, and the defense kind of fell apart for them as well. I mean, where do you want to start?
Yeah, I feel like um again, good team obviously made the Western Conference Finals back-to-back years. Randall has a player option. We'll see what happens there. He's probably going to decline it, would be my guess.
Hmm.
So he can get a long-term deal. And I feel like overall his playoffs was pretty good. Dominated the Warriors.
He
Really good
dominated
series to the
shitty like
Lakers.
defense. Like I mean, I guess the Draymond thing was pretty impressive, but like he
Again, I think you're not giving enough credit to OKC at the same time. Like that's a team
it's
that's really
true.
built to stop a Randall type of player. And, that's he's a playoff dropper, but he still had a couple good games. Like even in game 5, he had some good stats. Like,
Biggest stats, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
the what,
yeah.
blowout. Yeah.
Like overall, I feel like he's not erased, but like there's definitely not. I don't have the same. I don't think of him as badly as a playoff dropper as I did before.
Oh, sure, of course. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, compared the bar was quite low, but yeah,
that's fair.
he did impress. I think we should talk about game four really quickly. This
Hmm.
is more about the Thunder though than like an indictment on the Wolves because I mean it was haymaker after haymaker for both these teams,
Right.
and it felt like the Wolves really were gonna like definitely like that was their game to win. That was their
Yep.
shot. They were at home. But I mean,
You know, like
Jada,
they're
Chet,
Jade, yeah, Jade
just that was
McDaniels, like
Chet.
Dante,
Oh
Nasri all
yeah,
off the
Dante was
bench.
hitting. Oh my
Nah was
yeah.
insane that game.
Anthony Edwards started finally hitting his shots in the second half of that game too.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, no, Nikhil Alexander Walker, man, fuck, that was that game. Oh my God, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
he was hitting all time. Yeah, Shea was like, "What the fuck am I witnessing right now?" I'm like, all three. That was like a crazy showing from your big three, man. Like that was like a statement when people are gonna look back on that if these guys win like championships together. Because yeah,
That
that.
was like the best team, best performance they've had as a trio for sure.
I feel like Jada, I mean, Shea was great like in the entire game, but Jada and Chet especially down the stretch of that game were huge, man.
Yep, yep, for sure.
Defensively for Chet and offensively, and then Jada just hitting fucking like that big three.
That was his career
What
high in threes somehow.
was
Six
it, like
threes,
five,
six,
six? Yeah,
six, yeah,
good for him. I mean, because they were leaving him open, they were blitzing
yeah,
Shea. So it's like you have Jada, and he proved he was like a viable second option. It was amazing.
for sure. Like I was really impressed. Like that every time they were up the whole game, OKC, but like every time the Wolves would make a run and then OKC would just hit them back immediately.
Exactly.
And they would never let the Wolves get a lead.
Demoralizing.
And it was crazy impressive. Like I didn't expect that from like such a young team, but they've gotten the reps now, it feels like. They gotten the playoff basketball under their belt. We'll see, I guess. But yeah,
Um,
going back to the Wolves offseason, they have three big free agents, right?
mm,
Randall, player option. Naz Reid, player option, is probably going to decline because he's worth a lot more money.
he
And
is going
then
to. It's basically
Nickeil
forever.
Alexander Walker is unrestricted, I believe.
There's
And
rumors he's gonna leave. Yeah.
yeah,
This
it
is,
feels
this
like
is
he's the odd man out of the two. Like if you're re-signing Randall and Nas, he's probably the one you gotta part ways with. And I mean, Terrence Shannon was really interesting in the Thunder series. He had some really good moments. So I feel like
mhm.
that's the guy who's kind of there in that rotation to kind of replace him and can give a scoring punch and provide a little bit of defense. I think he's at least a little like has the energy to keep up with those guards.
But
Definitely
Sharon
not the
Shannon was a dog in college, man. He averaged like 25 in college. I mean,
yeah.
he only had
I
those
mean,
allegations against him, which is why he really fell down. You know,
right.
the allegations. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I was surprised he didn't play more in game four because he scored like seven in a row, I think. And then I didn't see him the rest of the game. I don't know if I was
I think he
missing.
got hurt.
Did he?
Yeah, which might have been why. But yeah, I think he might end up taking Nas' spot in the rotation. I think the question you have left is like, is it like KD's like a guy who's in the on the market and like potential like that could be a good fit like for both KD and the Wolves if that's something they want to do, like trade Randall and maybe
Yeah.
um
Yeah, they
Rob
could.
Dillingham or
Yeah.
something, like some like a young guy for
I saw that
KD.
proposal actually. Someone proposed like, would you be willing to essentially salary dump guys to to clear up the space for KD? And the Suns did lower their asking price for KD. They're focused on
Right.
getting back their pick, and just kind of like just offloading him. So
We'll see how that ends up working out.
Anthony
So
Edwards,
that,
Randall, KD, dude. I mean, it's
yeah.
totally possible, but like at that point, you're gonna be. I don't know how your team is gonna look.
Well, now they'll have Jaden McDaniels and KD.
And Rudy Gobert. Fuck, that actually is kind of scary.
Yeah,
And Ant, dude, that's like a four. That's like an elite four-man defensive duo.
for real. And then another thing with like the team is like Conley was really bad in the Thunder series and he
Yeah.
looked really old. He's 38 and Dante got to play better. Like, is he the starting point guard or do
He's
you
too
like
inconsistent.
hope?
No, no,
Yeah,
Dante can't Dante can't start for you anymore. Like that Knicks year was great, but he was not. He was too inconsistent this season with the temp.
yeah.
I mean, it took him a while to even find his role, I guess you would say. But what do you think about like the Mike Conley replacement? Like who fills that
I mean,
spot?
they drafted Rob for that
Yeah,
purpose. But if you're losing Nah, it seems like Dante's the only guy left on the roster to really start for them, unless Rob can make like a crazy jump up.
yeah.
But I think he's more of a six man. or like not even like an eighth man kind of
Like
guy
right
right
now,
now at
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
moment.
He barely played this year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they kind of hit him off the bench when he was injured. So I mean, it's really like they have a lot of moves to make. It's like, could you trade KD? Do you trade for KD? Do you
Yeah.
trade Randall? Do you trade Gobert if there's anyone willing to take him?
Gobert was
Um,
terrible in that series.
he was like offensively, I think in
Garbage
all of the series except that one game five in
against the Lakers, yeah.
against the Lakers,
He
like he's
was
been very
decent against the
disappointing.
Warriors. He was like okay against the Warriors too. In
Right.
certain games, he was okay. But yeah, he averaged like 4 points against you guys. He was ass.
Legit. Like you could not start him because he just can't catch the ball in traffic and you can
Yeah, like
place
what the
any
fuck,
defender on him.
dude?
And with the hands OKC has, as soon as he gets the ball, like even if he gets an offensive rebound, if he
Yeah.
doesn't keep the ball like above his head, the other team's getting the ball,
Um,
which is crazy.
yeah.
Um, so there's a lot of options for him. I say they get aggressive though. Like, do you think they should kind of like go young, or do you think they go all in for well while Ant's kind of rising?
I don't know what you're gonna get. Like, I think if you can get KD, get KD. But
Yeah.
if KD's not an option, like, you just I don't know. Like, I don't think Randall's like the piece. Like, I don't think that this team as like with Randall as your second best player is winning
Did
a
you think
championship.
Cat was the piece?
I
Like,
think
what do
Cat
you
was
think about that
closer to
trade
being the
looking
piece
back?
than Randall was. I mean, it's funny because the Knicks don't think of Cat as that piece either. But
Yeah.
we can get into, but like Randall is not that guy. He can't be your second best player. And I'm like, and I don't think Anthony Edwards is. I don't even know if Anthony Edwards is top 10 player. Like, I'm not as high on Anthony Edwards as a lot of other people.
Right.
So you definitely need like another top 10 player by his or a top 15 player by his side. Like if you had Evan Mobley or something instead of Randall, I'd be more convinced about this, but it's still Julius fucking Randle. So no, I
Right.
don't think so. I think like if you can land the big fish, then go for it. But if you can't get someone like at that level, like I don't know, I would kind of they already kind of did it with Julius Randle, prepare for the future a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, hey, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree. I think you go for KD. But then again, it's like OKC's like kind of the juggernaut, even next year, right?
It's
They're
yeah,
gonna be the same team running it back. So it's like, do you wanna, Ant has a long window. Do you wanna try to waste part of like the future trying to go against this juggernaut that you were so far behind now? Maybe you want to time it for later when they're kind of like in cap hell and have to like sacrifice some of their
yeah,
role players and stuff
yeah.
like
We
that.
never know what happens. These dynasties end really
Yeah.
fast, so
No,
we
you're
don't know.
you're that's a good point. Yeah, like we thought Boston was gonna be
Yeah, we got
right
Boston,
there.
Denver, Bucks. I
Yeah,
know about the
like all
Warriors,
those teams.
like yeah, the other guys. I mean, I still think for KD, like if KD joins, if you have Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Kevin Durant, and you have like an okay, like average bench, I think you can compete with the Thunder. I think you can compete. Like at least those four are like very, very scary
Yeah. Yeah.
together. If you can
I
get
don't know
like
if
an
I'm too
average
scared about Gobert. Like I used to be higher on him, but dude, he's a zero offensively.
for that high
It's
and go
he's a
there.
negative legitimately. Like there used to be some like I remember the screen assist used to be the big talking point. I don't even see
Yeah,
that anymore. Like he's a good screener still, but no. Like
poor
he's such a
defense player is
negative
good, bro.
in every other aspect as an offensive player.
Yeah. But no, Kevin Durant and Anthony Edwards with like decent role players is like that's
Yeah.
a better top two than like J-Dub and Shea. Like, come on. Like that's
Yeah, we'll
really
see. We'll see.
okay.
We'll
But
see.
not for many years though. KD is 37. So
I
if you
just
have
mean
a year
like
now,
I think OKC is still more equipped to guard them than Wolves would be to guard OKC.
yeah, I mean we've seen KD like struggle in the playoffs versus like yeah, lengthy.
I feel like this is the type of team he would struggle in. It's like athletes who could really
Definitely. Oh
swarm.
my God. Yeah. They
Yeah.
did swarm. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And Anthony Edwards also struggled. Like Anthony Edwards had a pretty his statistically, his playoffs were actually pretty okay, but I feel
Yeah.
like he was underwhelming. I just felt like he was underwhelming, especially this year. He had that one like incredibly like perfect game, like he had 30, like 12,
Yep.
17 shooting. But outside of that, he was underwhelming as fuck.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed. I mean,
Warriors
again,
series,
hard
he had
matchup.
like yeah, no, obviously, of course, yeah, yeah. But it doesn't matter. Superstars play well in like regardless of the matchups, dude. Like
Right.
we can give OKC all the credit, but if we're gonna talk about these guys like they're generational prospects, we have to like we can't just
Yeah.
discount
Yeah.
that. Like we can't just say, oh, the team was too good. It's not their fault. Like We talk about Steph and LeBron performances. We never talk about how good the team, like they're good enough that they should play well against like all good
No, you're
offense
right.
beats
Yeah,
good
yeah,
defense.
you're right. I think there was definitely moments where he should have been more aggressive and um like off ball. I think he should have been trying to be more active. I thought Dort was like sensational against him
Yeah.
though. Like he was literally playing cornerback while Ant was trying to be like a receiver trying to get the ball off
Yeah.
ball, and he was just
Yeah.
trying to deny every single pass, and
No,
it was
yeah, yeah,
working out.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes. I mean, Ant really couldn't get to his shots at all.
Yeah. And a lot
He
of
had,
people are saying
yeah.
like he just has no intermediate game, and that's probably it, right? Like
No,
he has to get the ball on the perimeter. He can't really like post up Dort and kind of just get it into
no,
the middle of
yeah.
the floor like Shea could. Or like someone like that. Like then create his own offense from there. It's really just can I run around the screen and catch it at the 3-point line, or can I run towards the basket
Yeah.
with the ball in my hands, or pull up jumper from three? Like, and he didn't shoot well from three this series either.
No.
So
Yeah.
lot to figure out there, but they're in a good place. I mean, I still think they're like top three in the West going into next season.
Yeah. I don't know. Rudy Gobert's getting a year older. Conley's getting a year older.
True. Ant's getting a
Um,
year better though.
Maybe, yeah. But Naz Reid, I don't know. They're gonna try bringing him back. I don't know what that bench is looking like. Nikhil Alexander's gone. He was probably their best bench guy
I
these
mean, no, it's
playoffs,
Nas.
maybe.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I still
Like,
think Nas was pretty good playoffs,
okay. I mean,
first two
against
rounds.
the Lakers, I felt like he couldn't miss in
Yeah.
fourth quarter, but he was, I don't know. Yeah. And then like, I don't know, like Clark is okay. Yeah, he's not
Yeah,
bad.
he's
And
interesting.
Terrence Shannon is decent. Yeah, some interesting looking young guy. Like they're high on Leonard Miller.
True. Yeah, Leonard Miller,
In the
Rob,
G League.
Jalen Clark. They have
Yeah,
some good young guys for sure. Yeah.
they have some interesting young
Maybe
guys. Who
Luka
else are
Garza
they
could
gonna
be
get?
something.
Luka, come on now. You seen that video of Luka Garza like dominating in a random gym, and they're like, "This is what like the 12th man on NBA roster does." He just killed. Like Luka Garza was a highly touted pick from like Michigan, right? A few years
He wasn't
ago.
a yeah, he won College Player of the Year.
Yeah, yeah, he was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
that's because he was like it's a post-up player with like limited mobility, you
yeah.
know.
Drew Timmy type. Drew
Yeah,
Timmy's on the Nets,
exactly.
dude. Dude, he's gonna be good.
Yeah, yeah.
He's actually
He
like
was like
not bad
playing,
either.
playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Crazy.
Um, okay, let's move on. We've talked enough about the Wolves. Let's go to the Knicks and then we can just wrap it up.
Sounds good.
Um, yeah, Knicks, they fired Tom Thibodeau. Well, how do you feel about that? What, 2017 to 2023, all coach of the years fired.
Crazy.
I've seen a
Uh,
lot of mixed takes on
Mark's
Tom
next.
Thibodeau so far. Huh?
Mark's next.
Oh,
I think he's
please
like
relax.
literally next in line for or the
Relax.
next coach of the year after. Yeah, I mean it's crazy, but at the same time I kind of get it. They were I heard from Zach Lowe like legit like a plus minus of zero throughout the entire playoffs, and they
Yeah.
got to the Western Conference or Eastern Conference Finals, and it felt like every game they were down like 20 and crawling back.
I don't
And
know how
sure,
they. Yeah.
sure, like coaching, yeah, but at the same time, it's like what you're a team that shouldn't be put into that position every single game in order to win. Like it's a little telling, I feel like, about like the level of talent your actual team's at, and it's more about like, the players just stepping up in the right moments. Um, so like I think it's just I don't know the better coaches out there. Obviously, Phoenix is another team looking right now at coaching, and they're looking at assistants. Like, what
Yeah,
is the
two
next
again.
what is the next coach you hire? Do you hire like Michael Malone? Is that the guy who feels very Tibbs-esque and like very stubborn, defensive oriented?
Yeah.
Um, or like I don't know what the direction is, because if you maybe you find someone you like who's more of an offensive guy, can create more creative offense for you and find ways to hide Brunson and Cat better.
Yeah,
But I
bring
feel
Phil
like
Jackson back. Just kidding.
the fact that they beat the Celtics is like enough reason to keep
That's
Tom Thibodeau
crazy,
when you
right?
think
Why aren't we
about it.
talking about that more? Yeah.
Yeah.
No one would have picked the Knicks in that series. And that was
No one.
incredible. They did that without Tatum. Um,
Like there weren't any I mean, obviously Tatum got hurt game four, but
but
they
that's
were up 3-1
they
without
were gonna win that series.
against a fully healthy Celtics. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
incredible.
It's
And
hard because but I was thinking about it. In 2016, Steve Kerr won Coach of the Year, so he also could be next to be fired. 'Cause
yeah, Kerr was
then,
the last one before all the like row of coaches got fired.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
the Kerr slash Walton. Right? Um, Yeah, I think for the Knicks, they just don't have that. This is gonna sound like a fucking like a Kendrick Perkins like type take. They just don't have that it factor, dude. I don't know. Like I never really thought they had a chance to win the championship. In the regular season, we definitely like were disappointed by him.
But
They
like
beat the
after
Celtics
beating
somehow.
Boston, you didn't think there was
I
a
was
chance?
no after they beat Boston, I thought they could have beat the Pacers. I never thought they'd
Yeah.
beat the Thunder, but like I thought like if you can beat the Pacers, I mean if you can beat the Celtics, I mean you can beat anyone, right?
Yeah.
But it's I don't know. I feel like these guys just got too tired over time. And I think the whole like going down 20 thing, it's kind of it doesn't make sense. You would think these guys are super exhausted coming into the playoffs, but I guess they're also just incredibly conditioned to the point where like when you get later in the game, they're just ready to go versus like the Celtics guys are not. But clearly they're not well conditioned enough to keep up with the Pacers. Like they just ran them out of the gym, dude. And Cat once again, he had a decent series. I still feel like he's somewhat underwhelming as like the idea of Cat feels a lot better than the real Cat. Um, I don't have his numbers in front of me, but
Like
and,
23, I think. Like pretty decent
okay.
efficiency.
And
I
Josh
thought like
Hart, I feel like
yeah,
is gonna
Josh
get
Hart was awful that
he's
game,
gonna
that
get
series.
moved. I have a like who else are you supposed to move? What are you supposed to do? It's not like you're gonna like. I guess now you're incentivized to get a better bench because
I
you're
think
getting
that's
a new
really
coach.
it. Yeah. Maybe a
Um,
Kolek could be someone for them. Maybe they use
I
some of their
don't like
picks.
their offense. Their offense, I don't like it. And especially
Yeah.
down the stretch, I don't like the
They
offense.
don't pass the ball. Like
It's
legitimately,
just
it's
Jalen
so
Brunson, bro. Jalen
yeah.
Brunson shoots so fucking much. It pisses me off. Okay?
Everyone on their roster, like OG gets the on the 3-point line.
He
He
can
doesn't
shoot
feel
it.
like
He can
passing.
shoot
He'll shoot
it.
it.
He fucking shoots.
Mikhail
Uchi.
will
Oh
just
my
run
God.
towards the basket, shoot a mid range.
They each had
Cat
a
will
game where
either
each of them
like
sold in the clutch. It was hilarious. Like then Mikal had that one game where he hit two threes in the fourth, and then he just missed three straight contested
yeah,
shots in a row. And then like OG will miss it. He'll miss a some. It'll be contested. He'll literally look at the defender and shoot over him. They'll get the offensive rebound. He gets the ball, shoots it again. I'm like, what are you fucking doing? It's like off front rib both times. And then Jalen Brunson, yeah, like he's often like quite good in the clutch, but like just pound. You're dribbling the air out of the fucking ball, dude, and you're just
yeah.
shooting over and over again.
I
And I
think
feel
their
like Cat's
offense
not
definitely
involved
needs some more
enough.
creativity for
I
sure.
think
Like they
Cat's not
have,
wasn't involved enough in their offense, honest, and that's
yeah.
probably partly because of him. Like, I mean, I don't know if he's
And he was like, I don't know,
like,
I just felt like I liked him more as like a power forward more than a center offensively. Like when he shoots threes, I feel like his offense is better because he posts up a lot more, which he's good at, but it's like
I think it's
eh,
good. I don't know.
yeah,
It's like his core game, like from when he was young, he was more of a like he was always a very good shooter, but he was a
yeah,
very good post player. Like in
right.
college and in his early seasons in Minnesota, he was excellent post player. Like contrary to what the DeMarcus Cousins picture wants you to think.
Yeah.
Um, so like I don't mind it. It's just like I think it's the Knicks. Like it could be both their faults, but I feel like he has to be. He's their second best offensive player, and like at times he looks more unstoppable than Jalen Brunson does, dude. So like I just feel like you got to involve him more in the offense, and hopefully someone like Mike Malone do that. I don't know. I'm not a coaching expert. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think they just need like a schematics guy. Like Thibodeau was a lot of like defense and kind of
Mhm.
vibes for offense. I feel like an old-fashioned kind of coach. I feel
Yeah.
like they need a guy who can create like a JJ Redick, like a guy who can create a lot of sets
Hmm.
for them, like a real schematic coach. Because I feel like
Like
it's
nice
a
fast
really
offense.
dynamic team. They have a
Yeah,
lot of guys who can play with the
exactly.
ball in their hands and make and shoot. And I just don't feel like they use them to like a level where they really do that. They just like kind of they all dribble too much.
I mean,
They don't really pass.
they're not a super fast team, and like they
Right.
have the personnel to be quite a quick team. Like they should be shooting a lot of threes. Like they should be playing a lot like the Pacers do, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't think Jalen Brunson is nearly the playmaker that Halliburton is, though. Um,
for sure. I mean,
but
yeah,
yeah, he's not.
tough ask.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, Jalen Brunson is a good playmaker, but he's not. Yeah, I don't think. I don't know. Most of his playmaking is off of drives. I'm not sure that. I don't know if he's like. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's a very
So
deliberate player. Yeah.
yeah.
I think trade wise, I don't really think I mean Cat's the really the guy who's left. Like, do you trade him? And
They
it's
want to. They
which
literally
is
said they want to
crazy.
get rid of him,
Yeah.
bro. Like, how are you gonna let Jordan Woods leave New York? Uh, no more Kylie Jenner, Jordan Woods, even though they're not friends. And like, who else was courtside? Fuck, there was another baddie. Courtside. Oh yeah, Suni Lee.
Suni Lee, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're a good team. The thing is, Celtics are again, not going to
They're
be
not,
real
yeah,
much of
they're
a
not gonna
threat
be
next year. Cavs could be still frauds.
what's going on with them, yeah.
Like we don't really know what's up with them. And then Indiana, obviously a great team, but I don't know. You expect the Knicks to figure something out with this coaching adjustment, and you expect them to get a better bench. Like your backup point guard, I feel like Deuce is good. I feel like they have a tight seven-man rotation that's pretty solid. But I feel like eight, nine, and 10, it's just like they have like obviously one of the problems with this year was like Tibbs was just like making the starters play way too many minutes and didn't really develop any of their bench guys to
Yeah.
kind of like have a feel if they could actually play playoff minutes. And then Shamit I thought was pretty good in some minutes, and
Yeah.
DeLon Wright had some good moments, but they didn't end up using them to the like you never know you never could tell that from how they played in the regular season.
Dude, I have a trade for you.
Yeah.
What if you trade Cat for Jared Allen and some other bench pieces? How do you feel
Hmm.
about this for both teams? I feel like the Knicks were better when Jalen Brunson was like their only offensive. Like remember like last year when Randall got hurt and Jalen Brunson started going crazy and I don't know, they
Yeah.
almost beat the Pacers despite being hobbled as fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know, buddy. What would you think for the Cavs? I would totally do it. Like they could use someone just like Cat for like offense in the playoffs, and
Yeah.
he'd fit so well next to Mobley.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And having a defensive guy like Mobley next to him, like he's proved
I
it
don't
so
know. I
well.
just feel like Allen's not the guy I would need at the moment because you have Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah,
He was pretty damn good like throughout the entire
he
playoffs.
outplayed
And
Jaren Allen
yeah, exactly.
2023.
Like Allen's I guess he's like another guy. So if you're able to get another guy if Ty Jerome's like really good and you're able to get
Yeah,
him
exactly. You need some
or
more
like
bench guys. I'm
yeah,
trying to think of who. Like you already have Deuce. Like why do you need Ty? And I
right.
don't
Well, Ty's a
know.
creator. Like he could actually do some things with the ball in his hands.
In
Like
the
bro, when
regular
Brunson's
season.
off the floor, you could use him a lot more.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Who
I don't
like
know.
Max
Yeah.
Truess maybe? I don't know who else they
It
could
just
use. They don't want
feels
like Sam Merrill or
do you think
anything.
it's an upgrade if you go from Julius Randle to Dante DiVincenzo to Ty Jerome and Jared Allen? It feels like a downgrade.
Oh, it's not.
It's like in
But
every yeah.
again, they're also it's all like theoretical. Like it's all like Julius Randle
Like
is good, but he's
because it
ass.
feels like yeah. I'm just saying, but it feels like the trade you're making is like a perfect trade would be if you trade a cat for Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, no, because you don't want I don't know. I
Because
don't
Allen's a playoff dropper in his own right,
he
it's
is
looking
he
like
no he
too.
is absolutely right. I just like they just need to change their offense. If they expect less out of their center offensively, maybe they're better. Like
Mhm.
their offense in 2024 was like completely perimeter oriented. There was
Yeah,
no thought of like a center post up at all, and it somehow worked.
right.
But like now it's just I don't know, cat like maybe the fit's not good. I'm not sure because
I mean,
like
they made the conference finals last year, or not the conference final. They made the
no, they
conference
made
finals this year. They made it to the second round last year, so they did have a better season.
they could have
Looking
won
back,
against the Pacers, dude. Like Jalen Brunson was hurt in that
yeah,
last game.
yeah, for
That
sure.
was bullshit.
OG was hurt too.
Yeah, OG was hurt. He didn't play well at all in that last game. And that was before they even had Mikal.
Right.
So, I don't know. Whatever. I don't know what they're supposed to do either. These are all teams kind of stuck in these
Yeah, but they're all
situations.
good. That's the thing.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it's
they're
like
all
they could
like,
all run it back and be at the same thing, but it's not, none of them are teams you're expecting to make that next step where you're like, they're championship ready. And I
they're
think
all like
maybe, I
finals
feel like the
contenders.
Knicks are the closest, to be honest, with a good coach. Like if they can create something, like if they go
Yeah.
from like that same like JV Bickerstaff to Kenny Atkinson kind of upgrade, or even
Their
like
offense is
Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr, they
I
can get
just
that
don't see
guy.
it in their offense. I just don't see a consistent high performing offense from them. I don't like I don't know. I don't know what their identity is offensively. And I feel like
It's,
for all these other
it's
contending teams,
isolation. Jalen
it's
Brunson
stupid.
pound the ball.
It's a stupid offense. I don't like that's the problem.
Yeah.
And like it's not like their defense is like some high powered defense either.
They have some
It's like,
moments, but yeah, it's definitely
yeah.
not like
So what is
top
their
10.
identity? Like that's my point. They're just like they're great, but they're mid great. Like they're
That's why,
all
and you never
a
expected them to beat the
second tier team.
Celtics. But the
Exactly. No,
Celtics, that's why it felt like the Celtics beat themselves. It wasn't even the Knicks like
and Porzingis
really
was a shell
showing
of his
out.
former self. Like
Right.
Drew Holiday looks to have taken a step back. They shoot a bunch of stupid threes. Sam Hauser got hurt. Like there's a lot of factors that went into that, right? It's still an impressive, like
Of
obviously.
course, yeah. But it also felt like the Celtics just kept shooting threes, and I
Yeah,
mean the Knicks
so
obviously had to make the comeback in the first place, but it's like
two
you
comebacks,
two
two
20 point
come.
comes back comebacks
How does
back to
that
back
happen?
games.
That's
Insane.
so crazy that happened, dude.
Like
I'll
still,
never
no
get
matter
it.
what happens, probably the craziest moments of the playoffs
No,
ever.
that was
Legitimate.
seriously like
Yeah.
in the last like 3 years, we've had some crazy moments. 2023, and I feel like they're always one up up
Yeah.
each other.
2023, I think, was the craziest in
The
my opinion.
Bucks
The
Heat, like
Bucks
I
Heat.
was
I
in
mean, the Heat
awe.
entire run was insane.
Yeah, even though it's funniest when they almost blew a 3-0 lead. And then,
Yeah.
like that Derek White game winner in game six, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah,
they're
that
actually
was
gonna pull it
crazy,
off.
dude.
And then Jason Tatum hurts his like fucking leg, like ankle, whatever that was, like
Yep.
1 minute into the game. But that Bucks, like that Jimmy Butler takeover,
Yeah,
like where he had
56
20
points.
points, where he's like in transition, he stepped back and took a
Yeah.
three. He did not need
We
to.
were
And
watching that
oh,
together, bro. That
I
was
was
the craziest thing I've like most unexpected thing I've ever seen, I think.
Yeah.
And
No, no,
this
seriously,
Celtics
I think
comeback
I
was pretty
told like,
smooth.
yeah, I was literally said it like I was like that was one of the craziest shit ever. But then
Yeah.
somehow it got topped when the Wolves destroyed the Nuggets in like games 1 and 2 of the playoffs. I was like, come on,
Oh yeah.
the Nuggets are gonna repeat. That was
Yeah.
I did not
I
expect that
mean,
shit.
game seven was insane because we watched that
And then they
together
come
too.
back.
The 20
Yeah.
point comeback was
And then
nuts.
in game six, the Wolves blow them out, and you see that picture of Jokic just like standing, like trying to aura
Yeah.
farm, looking at them. And then
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, this picture's gonna go down in history." And then they blow the 20-point lead and hits that three in the corner and turns the.
Gobert hits that fadeaway.
Oh my God, bro! I was losing. I literally got up and like jumped
Yeah.
when it happened.
That
And
was
then now,
nuts.
like it's like this was also unexpected. I don't think I was as like jumping up and down, maybe because I had a
Yep.
long day of work. But like I literally 2 days in a row, I stopped after work and I sat in the parking lot and finished watching the game before leaving because they were just
Just
too insane.
insane. Yeah.
Like so, yeah, it's been a really good playoffs.
I
I'm
think
excited.
so too.
This is like a
I thought the
step final.
Nuggets Thunder series was really good.
Oh yeah, that's I
Celtics,
mean
Celtics,
yeah.
Knicks Pacers was a really good
Knicks
series. First
even
three
Knicks
games were
Pistons
insane.
was good, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, Knicks Pistons was good. Like there are a lot of good series this year.
That first
Playoffs.
game was just stupid. Like the Knicks should have won that. I can't
Yeah, I
believe.
mean if they won that game, they probably won the series, dude.
And that
Like,
even that's even yeah, that's even crazy because the Pacers had so much rest and the Knicks still almost won that.
yeah. And I mean, Neesmith turns into T-Mac, Tyrese hits that shot, like
Oh my God, yeah. And
crazy
Tyrese then
circumstances.
just in general the Pacers clutchness in these playoffs and like Tyrese's clutch G in the entire
I
season. He
feel
has like
like
two clutch shots.
going back to the finals prediction, I feel like the another way is they just push it out of their ass like they did all three rounds.
I mean, it's
Where
like, do you trust the Thunder's clutch offense at the Pacers? Thunder's has been kind of inconsistent these playoffs, no?
I
A
felt
little bit.
like I mean, since game two of the Nuggets series, I don't think they've lost a clutch game, right?
Well, have they had many clutch games outside of game
Well,
four?
well, game four, but I think game four and five of the Nuggets series, both clutch wins.
Oh yeah, Shea had like a perfectly executed
Yeah,
game
or
five.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was, and
yeah.
then
Wait, game four, you
that's when
guys
he like
won? Oh, you're right. You went. Wait, did you go down 2-1? You
no,
did.
we went down 2-1, then came back
Yeah, and then you
3-2,
won
and
game
then got
four,
lost
but yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah.
So game four, five, both clutch games,
Then lost to
we
the Knicks
won,
and won game
and
seven.
then game four of the Wolves series also a clutch game they
Yeah,
won.
yeah,
So I don't know. We'll have to, I feel like their clutch offense really depends on J-Dub a lot of the time, and if he can make timely shots,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he's been doing that ever since. So I'm trusting it for
We'll
now.
see. But okay. I think we can call it there.
Yeah,
I think we went in depth for everything, but yeah, it's a good pod. Excited. We'll be back hopefully after game one of the finals. Can't believe the finals are already here. I can't believe the NBA season's almost over. That's so sad.
that's crazy. I
I
mean,
feel like it's passed really
I feel
fast.
like it feels like that way for fans of like for me, it's just like I have so
No,
much
I know.
anticipation for
Just
what's
getting
left.
started for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no,
yeah.
yeah. Definitely. I envy you right now. But yeah, thanks so much for listening to the Change of Pace podcast. You can follow us on Instagram. I'm at Change of Pace Pod as well as YouTube and Spotify. And we'll be back at you after game one. Don't forget, it's on Thursday, June 5th. So yeah, all right. Thank you.